Hi, I'm Nancy, and today we're doing a yoga class on the spleen and the stomach. This is a kind of meridian yoga, and I mix in our typical yoga moves with some special moves from meridian yoga and from qigong. So let's have a seat to begin by breathing and calming into the space in which you are seated. You can sit on a chair or on a pillow for this, or blanket. The spleen and the stomach are located right here under the left bottom ribs. And most of us have a sense for where the stomach is that receives our food and starts to metabolize it. The spleen is located to the left and above it. It is about the size of a fist or an avocado. It, in Western medicine, recycles the red blood cells, makes white blood cells, and supplies us with some antibodies for particular situations. In the Chinese system, the stomach does much the same, receiving the nourishment from the earth and metabolizing that, then making it so it can be transported with the blood through the system. The spleen in the Chinese system sends the blood, transporting it through the body so that the nourished blood gets to the rest of our body. Also in the Chinese system, when your stomach and your spleen are balanced, they give us better focus and concentration. They center and stabilize us. They're connected with the element of the earth. They're paired in Chinese medicine. So the stomach is the yang organ and the yin organ is the spleen. Really quite essential to the body. Let's soften our gaze now and begin to breathe. You might bring your hand across those lower left ribs. Breathing into the stomach and the spleen, visualizing the breath warming them. Simply bringing your appreciation to the stomach, receiving, mixing, the spleen, where it's nourishing blood. Just breathing gently, and giving them care. Relaxing through the shoulders and the abdomen. Just as the spleen and stomach give our body nourishment, the earth gives nourishment to our body through the spleen and stomach. And so they represent the nourishing earth element in the body. They connect us to the centered stability of the earth. We'll let the peace of the earth come into the body. As you inhale, bringing the energy of the earth up into the body. And as you exhale, letting the breath float down from spleen and stomach into the earth. Visualizing that connection between earth and these vital organs. Letting the heartbeat slow to the pace of the earth. Letting the earth and the body float in the same vast silence. And then letting the hand come back to the thigh. Bring one hand down alongside the body, planting it As leverage, the other arm reaches up, hip reaches down, arm reaches up, up, and over as elbow and wrist become quite loose, and we stretch through the lateral side of the body, bringing beneficial nourishment to the spleen. And over on the other side, reaching up, reaching down with the hip, and coming over. One more time with this form of side bend in each direction. Reaching up and gently opening up on the side. This lateral opening, both in side bends and in twists, is very beneficial, particularly to the spleen. The next time, let your hands slide out into a more wide, luxurious side bend. Feeling that opening through the waist and the side of the hip. Come through armpit. And one more time. Bring the hands back to center. Let's do arm revolutions, sweeping one arm up. Let the gaze follow the fingers up and around, back as far as they can, sweeping the mat. Bring your focus and concentration to the ends of the fingers, to the range of motion in the shoulder, always adapting for what you need, and synchronizing breath with the movement. One time round the opposite direction, up, and pushing down through viscous air. Other side, inhale up, focus. Inhale up, exhale round. One more time. And one time round the opposite direction. Reach up in the back and over, pushing down. And we'll come into a twist, just an easy twist with one hand on the opposite thigh. Let this arm be long and bring it round so that this straight arm reaches round. Release. Arms can be broad as you come around, and once again, leverage with the hand on the opposite thigh and the other one back around. One more time on each side. Not too much strain here, just an easy twist to begin opening the spiral in the spine, loosening up, and come back through center. Bring the bottoms of the feet together at the place that's right for you. You might be more of a diamond, or you might be bringing the heels towards the groin, hands on ankles or hands around the toes, inviting the knees to just be comfortably wide. If this is too uncomfortable, you can always bring some blankets or blocks underneath the knees. Inhale as the tailbone goes down and you lift up through the bottom abdominal muscles. And then bending forward just a few inches from the base of the spine, forward, long through the torso. And inhale back up. This is not a large movement, but begins to stretch you up through the spine as you stretch forward just those few inches. And let the inner thighs perhaps relax open a little bit more. One last time, down through the tailbone, lifting up through the abdomen as you inhale. Inner thighs open a bit more as you come forward several inches. And inhale back. We're going to review the spleen meridian now. It starts on the medial side, the inner side of the big toe. Come up here a little farther so you can see it. So rubbing there a moment. And then coming up to the side
mound of the big toe, just under that mound on the side of the foot, and rubbing there. You can stay sitting to do this. I'm just standing to show you. Then coming up under those metatarsal bones, up over the ankle bone, up the side, just under the tibia, that bone of the shin. Come about 2 inches below the knee to a point kind of under that bone that runs on the side of the leg, and rubbing there. Then proceeding up the inner thigh, come up to the navel and come out from the navel just under the left ribs to the side, and a bit of rubbing there. Then the meridian comes up the side of the breast. Then bring your fingers to the armpit and other fingers down to the bottom of the ribs. Find the midpoint in between those. It's about between the 6th and 7th rib, and just rub there. And that is the end point of the spleen meridian. And we'll try that on the other side. So once again, coming to the inside front of the big toenail, then up the side, and pausing just below the mound of the big toe on the side and rubbing. Coming under the bones along the side in front of the ankle bone, up just under that tibia bone, couple inches, 2 inches below the knee, and rubbing there inside, kind of inside and under that bone. I'm wobbling here a bit, like we like to do. Then coming in the inside thigh and up to the navel, come out from the navel to the point at the side under the right ribs this time. Then coming up beside the breast, one hand comes into the armpit, one set of fingers down under the ribs, come to the midpoint between that, which is between the 6th and 7th rib, and rub there. So that helps to balance our spleen meridian. Come to a standing position now. We're just going to do some easy exercises to loosen up our joints a bit. Bring your attention to your nose and make a circle with the nose. It can be fairly small, just to open the neck a little bit. You might imagine the 4 corners of the circle, if you will. And if you get it all dizzy, just pause momentarily at each of those points, top, left, right, and bottom. And coming around the opposite direction, just an easy opening for the neck. Bringing your focus and concentration to each part of the body. One more time, and come to center. Next, we'll do the shoulders. Inhale as shoulders come up to ears, squeeze the shoulder blades together, bring them down, bring shoulders together in the front. And 2 more times round, down, together, and up, squeezing together in the back, going against all of that rounded shoulderness that we get during the day, and up to the ears, and then 1 time back around the opposite direction. Shoulders up to ears, pause here, and gently let the shoulders relax down. Now bring the hands to the hip creases, feet come a little wider apart. Let hips come forward and to the side and back and over to the other side, simultaneously letting your weight go gently from foot to foot. Slowly opening up the range of the hips. And back the opposite direction. Nothing sudden here. It's gradual and easy, opening up. 1 more time round. Then bringing the feet underneath the hips, bring the weight into one leg, and remember, ground down through the foot, little internal rotation through the upper thigh. So you have a strong foundation leg as the other foot comes back, and you turn from the front of the foot to the bottom, to the top of the foot. If that's painful, just stay on the underside of the foot. This turns the toes, it turns the ankles and the knee and the hip, and back around the opposite direction. Gratefulness to our ankles for all their support as we walk through our lives and keep walking. One more time round and bring that foot down. Establish this foundation leg, zipping up energetically through that leg. Other foot comes back and turns. And round the opposite direction. Now bring the feet close together. Knees are close together as well as thighs. Knees bend and hands come onto the top of the thighs just above the knees. And we're going to circle the knees. Circles as knees come forward and back. Imagine you're going around the periphery of your feet. Well, it's not just imagination, you are. So ankles are quite active here as well. Feet and round the opposite direction. Bringing your concentration to your body and its movements, being right here in the body. One more time round. And then coming up, we'll do an undulation, which is really a standing cat-cow. So coming into buttocks back and chest forward, and then buttocks in and chest back, and letting that motion just flow through the body as your spine undulates. And everybody kind of comes to this with their own rhythm and movement. Nothing particular. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring the feet wide. Let the hips start to turn. Heels rise. And arms flow back and forth with the movement of the hips. Letting the arms be very loose, the body loose. Be right in whatever motion your body is giving you. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring the feet back under the hips for good support. Knees and hips are soft. Bring the hands up so that the fingers come just below the eyes on the top of the cheekbones. And we're now tracing the stomach meridian. So massaging a bit here at the tops of those bones under the eyes. Then bringing the fingers down along the jaws and out in front of the ears, so that one finger is just in front of the ear, right where you would close it, but you're not in the ear, you're in front of it. Rubbing there a moment. Then coming up along the hairline to the corners of the hairline and rubbing there. Then the stomach meridian comes down the neck to the bones of the collarbone in the middle, then out to mid-collarbone, down across the nipple, down across the abdomen, the fronts of the thighs, fronts of the shins, down across the top of the feet to the second toe, and just rub on that second toe. And you might be crouching here, or you might be stretching the backs of your legs a little bit. We're going to do it one more time. We're rolling up gently. Once again, coming under our eyes and massaging. Visualizing this stomach meridian and the connection with the stomach, coming up, down to the jaw and up to the front sides of the ears, up the hairline to the corners of the hairline on the forehead. Then down the sides of the neck to the collarbone, mid collarbone, coming down across the nipples, sides of the abdomen, down the fronts of the legs, all the way down to the second toe and rubbing on the second toe. And then rolling back up. Bring the feet a little wider than hip width apart, soft in the knees and the hips. We're going to hold a ball of energy. It might be chi or prana, this vitality that is part of the universe and part of us. One hand with the palm up is at the abdominal area, and one hand with the palm down is at the stomach and spleen area. Inhale in this position. And as you exhale, bend the knees more and press out with the top hand, the gaze going in that direction as well. Inhale up, change, and exhale over in the other direction, the top hand always pressing out, change. As you exhale out, imagine you're pressing a rock out, really putting your inner energy into that movement. Pressing out, focusing. One more time on each side. And coming back through center. Now bringing our focus to a little bit of an awkward move, but one that you can master. One arm comes with the hand palm up, pointing to the ear, and one hand comes at the level of the stomach and spleen, fingers in and palm pointing down. So this palm is down, this palm is up. And inhale as one rises up and one pushes down to the earth. Windmill the arms out and bring the hands to the opposite positions on the other side. Inhale, pushing up through the sky, down through the earth. Windmill. Bringing all your concentration to this movement. Balancing left and right, up and down, centering, even as you are toning the arms. And one last time. Arms come out to the side, reach out with the fingertips, feeling that energy going from shoulders through elbows, out through wrists, and out through the fingertips. Even coming from the stomach and spleen, reaching out. And bring the arms down. Let's come into mountain pose. Feet are directly under the hips. And if you want to measure that, 2 fists in between the toes. Soft gaze, bring the attention to the feet, grounded down, connecting with the earth, all 4 corners. A hoop of energy going from the heels as they ground down and the shins as they in a lively way come forward just the tiniest bit. Feeling an internal rotation in the upper thighs to open in the back of the hips. Long up through the lower abs with a bit of energy going from the pelvic bone up to the back of the waist. Another loop of energy from the back of the waist up through the collarbone. Breathing through this space you're creating in the torso. A loop of energy from the back of the neck as it becomes long and the chin tucks in just a bit. Reaching up through the crown. Relaxing down through shoulders and arms, shoulder blades. organs becoming soft. One more inhale and exhale here. Inhale, arms up, gaze rises. Exhale as you bend at hip creases and hands come down towards the earth. Hands can always be on opposite elbows. Lift up a bit through the hips, pressing down through the feet. Then bring the hands up to the shins, long through the spine, a bit of a back bend here, gaze forward, long from the base of the spine, up through the neck. Inhale and exhale here. And then come down, sweep arms up, and bring them down behind the back, fingers going down on the back of the sacrum. We're going to do a standing camel here. So some looseness in the knees and the hips. One hand stays on the back of the sacrum. Inhale as one arm, the other arm rises, lift up through the mid-sternum, tuck the nape of the neck, loose through the jaw, and bring it down. Do that once again, same side. Inhale up, lifting through the mid part of the breastbone. Relax through the throat. And other side, bring the hand to the sacrum in the back as arm rises, long through the abdomen, lifting up through the sternum, tuck the nape of the neck, and come down. One more time. And down. Both hands come to the sacrum in the back. Shoulder blades come together just a bit. Open through the chest. Inhale up through mid-sternum. Tucking in the base of the neck. Loose through the jaw. And come back. And one more time. Opening up. And releasing down. These anterior openings are particularly good for the stomach. Now we'll come into chair. So bring the hands out in front of you, knees and hips bend about the same amount. Tailbone coming down towards the earth. Inhale up and exhale back. Pulling the arms back into the arm sockets so they're strong through the shoulder girdle. Inhale up. Exhale down. And one more time, coming back to a place where you can sustain for several breaths. You might turn and open arms to one side and then open arms to the other side. You might just develop a rhythmic swinging back and forth between these positions. One more time on each side. Come back to middle and rise up. Feet are still under hips. Inhale as hands come out in front and then come back, letting the arms swing back as knees and hips soften. Swinging gently. Back and forth. Slowly, the arms begin to rise up a little farther. And as they come up, you might want to come up on tiptoes. So let momentum take you here. Two more times. And come up. That loosens us up. Bring the hands so that the fingers are clasping behind the buttocks. Going to come into a yoga mudra. Knees are soft. Inhale. And as you exhale, Arms rise up behind, torso stretches out from the base of the spine and over just as far as works for you. Aware of issues in any part of the body, and strong through the belly, coming back up. And exhale over. Inhale up. And unclasp your hands. Bring the feet a little wider than hip width apart. Arms come up to the side, lifting up to the sky, and the heel rises to the back. The weight is mostly on this front foot now. Then I'm turning, swinging across the side, other heel rises up. The front arm, palm is up, and the back arm a bit bent, the palm is down. Gaze is up. Then that front arm comes down and brushes the earth. Arms come wide and feet come together as the hands come in. Foot opens to one side, arms go to that side, rising up. Swing across to the other side, front arm palm up, back arm palm down. Front arm sweeps across the earth, arms are wide and come together. Step out to the left, arms come out, up in that direction. Over to the other side, front palm up, bottom palm down. Swinging across, sweeping across the earth, arms wide and coming down. Opening to the other side, reaching up, coming across, front palm up, bottom palm down. Brushing the earth, arms wide and coming back together. Open to the other side and open up in that direction. Hands rising up, swinging across, front palm up, back palm down. Rushing down across the earth with the front hand coming into a wide stance and coming together. Wide, reaching up on that side, coming across, front palm up, bottom palm down, rushing across the earth with the front hand, arms wide and coming together. And one last time, going out to the other side, rising up, gaze and palms of hands up on that side, swinging across, front palm up, bottom palm down, rushing the earth, arms wide and coming together. This one is supposed to be very good for conditioning the stomach and the spleen. And of course, we're always conditioning our legs and arms and joints as we do this. Bring the feet wide. Let one hand rub down the side of the thigh as the other arm comes up and over, opening up the lateral sides of the body. I think as I'm doing this in this particular time, there is a full moon, and these particular sequence, this side opening is supposed to be good for the body, and we'll go into goddess, and that's a real moon pose as well. But you may be doing this at a different phase of the moon. And come over. Now bring the arms wide, and one hand comes down to the opposite ankle as the other arm opens up. Do a twist, strong through the belly as you slowly come up and over to the other side. Pause, strong in the belly as you come up, over to the other side. Tuck in the tummy. And one last opening. Coming up, we're going to come into goddess, the quintessential pose. Feet are out at 45 degrees, very much grounded through heels and the balls of the feet. Elbows extending out from the shoulders, tailbone coming down towards the earth, fingers rising up. And breathing here. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. And exhale back. One more time. Inhale up. And exhale back. Come to a place you can sustain for 2 more breaths. Tailbone coming down towards the earth, connecting moon and earth. Then lifting up, bring the feet just slightly in, bring the arms out wide, loose through the wrists and the elbows. Imagine that you are holding a rainbow. So each hand is holding the end of a rainbow. Then do a little rainbow dance. This leg bends a bit and the weight comes into that foot as the end of the rainbow comes down towards your thigh. And let this become your own dance at your own pace, back and forth, perhaps softening the gaze and imagining the many colors of the rainbow surrounding you. Conditioning the spleen and the stomach at the same time. A little bit more of a rainbow dance here. And we'll gradually come back to center. Fold up your rainbow, and bring feet together. We're coming into balancing now. If you need a chair, please find one. We're going to be marching first, bringing our knees up as if we were marionettes. So the hand is the marionette master, and the hand is lifting as if it is lifting up the knees. So let the knees respond to the hand. And as you bring that foot down, ground down, be aware of each leg becoming the foundation leg. The faster you go, the easier that is. So we'll do it 4 more times. This is number 4. And now we're going to slow down radically as you really do get a foundation leg firm here. Feel all 4 corners of the feet. Feel the excitement and energy through the shin and the slight inward turn of the thigh. Then let the hand come out, the knee comes out with it, the ankle comes on top of the thigh above the knee, and this knee bends a bit down towards the earth, maintaining that foundation leg. Hands might come to namaste, you might stay here, or you might do a Shiva dance. Hand arching down up above, and palm out to the earth below. Shiva representing the spirit of the universe, and many other things. Three, 2, and 1. And bring it back. Bring your weight into the other foundation foot. Grounding down, horizontal across the hips, turning in, really zipping up the energy in that leg. Then raise that knee up with the hand, Turn it out. Bend the knee into a figure four. Bend in this foundation leg knee. Hands might come just to the chest. And you might begin the Shiva dance. Letting the heart beat right in time with this spirit of the universe. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let the feet come wide for a moment, and we'll do one more conditioning for the spleen and the stomach. As we bring weight into one foot, heel rises, arms just swing up to the side with palms open to the sky, loosely open to the sky, coming back and forth. Imagining you're looking up at the sky, perhaps the stars or the moon, perhaps the blue or the clouds. Being with what is. Letting this become a flowing dance at your own rhythm, back and forth. 2 more times. And bring it to a pause. Now coming to the front of your mat. Inhale as arms rise. Exhale, come into a forward fold. Hands on each side of the feet as the feet come back into a plank. Make sure your hands are strong through the balls and the heels of the hands, giving good support through the shoulders. Energy coming back through the heels, strong through the belly. For 3, 2, and 1. Knees can always be down for these. And bring the elbows in, feet come down, rise up into what might just be a baby cobra, our first cobra of the day. And then coming down, tuck the feet, dig into the hands, weight comes back as hips rise. Knees are soft, perhaps pedaling with the heels, stretching back through that long spine. Letting the heels come still. Right foot comes under the middle of the hips. Left leg rises up. Rise a little bit more as you push into hands and foot. And then bending the knee under, arching the back and bring the foot through. Bring the knee down in the back, roll over the front heel. Perhaps bow down over that leg to stretch through the back of the leg a bit. And coming forward, lifting the knee in the back, energy coming back through the heel, opening through the back of that leg in a different manner. Now bring that knee down and you're on the front of your foot, rising up into a lunge. Press down through both limbs to the earth, bringing the thighs towards the hips, hugging in through the hips. One arm comes across to the opposite thigh and the other one opens up in the back, relaxing down through the shoulders. Bring the hands back, foot comes back and back up into downward dog. Push back, knees are soft. Then left foot comes under the hips and right foot rises. Push up a little bit more with hands and foot. Bend the knee in, arch the back, bring it through. Or if you need to come down on knees, don't hesitate to do that. Let the knee come down and roll over the heel in the front. Let the kneecap relax here. Then coming forward, raise the knee and push back through the heel. Let the knee come down on that side. Coming up into a knee down lunge, which is with a nice open front of the hip. The opposite arm comes across the thigh and the other arm opens up in the back. Relax down through the shoulder blades. Then bring the arms back. The right hand comes inside that right foot and you open up to the side in the opposite direction. Hand comes down to the waist, tuck the toes. Hand might come up to the knee to help you as you rise up, and we're coming up into warrior two. Toes are forward, knee just above that ankle, 30 degrees in the back. Firmly pressing down through each foot, feeling the earth answering you. Strong through the hips, open, and light through the top of the body as the fingers reach out. Arms might turn with palms up, shoulder blades relax down, and then turn the hands down. Gaze goes out, focus over the fingers, looking out across the centered and stable earth. One last inhale here. And exhale, bend the arm in front, forearm comes down to the thigh in the front, and other arm might be up or come over the ear, feeling that long line from the back sole of the foot all the way up through the fingertips. If you'd like to open up with one hand coming down towards the ankle and one reaching up, optional here. Then you might come back to the thigh as you lift up, back hand comes down the thigh, other one reaches up into sky gazing warrior. Once more, let's come back and forth between those postures. On side angle, the side angle of your choice. And then lifting up into sky gazing warrior. Weight in both feet. Strong through the bottom part of the body. Light connecting with spirit above. And back through warrior two. Hands come to the waist. Turn the feet. Coming into a warrior two in the opposite direction. Finding your stance. It might be more narrow, it might be wider. Find what fits the body that you inhabit. Strong and firm through the feet, up through the thighs, lower abs, and light through the top of the body. Gaze going out over the fingertips, perhaps flipping the palms and bringing them back. Letting the breath lighten you. At the same time, connect you with the earth. One last inhale. Forearm comes down onto thigh, into side angle. Perhaps arms open. Coming back into sky gazing warrior. Back into side angle. Gazing up at the sky once again. Come back through warrior two. Hands come down around what is the front foot now on your warrior two, and foot comes back, and once again into plank. And knees can be down or up. Strong through the hands with fingers spread. Energy coming back through the heels, strong through the belly for 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself down, and we'll come into Sphinx
So forearms are under the shoulders and anchored through the hips and the tops of the feet. Bring your focus back to the spleen and the stomach as you breathe here. Letting your center and stability in the earth be nourished. Then bring your torso down, let arms come along the sides. Inhale as head, shoulders, and arms lift and fingers reach back and down and up and down. One last inhale up and exhale down. Let the legs join in, fingers and toes reaching back, crown reaching forward, and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up to a place you can sustain for several breaths. Feeling the connection with the earth through the hips. And bring it down. And now hands come under the shoulders and reach up into downward dog with hips rising, weight back over the feet. Left foot comes under the hips and right foot rises up. Push into hands and foot, raise up a little bit more, and then bend the knee, arch the back, bring the foot through. This time, let the knee stay up. If you need to bring it down, that's fine. The option is to pull the thighs into the hips, hug into the hips with the knee up in the back. Arm comes to the opposite side of the thigh and the arm opens in the back. Relaxing down through the shoulders, opening up. Then coming back, press back up into downward dog. Long through the spine. Right foot comes under the hips. Left foot rises up, up, bend. Perhaps you come down on your knees to come into the lunge. Do what is right for your body. Then lifting up, trying to keep that knee lifted. If you need to bring it down, that's fine. And then coming into the twist with the opposite arm coming around over the thigh and the hand reaching out behind. And then coming back, hands on either side of that foot. Bring both feet together. Coming back into a forward fold. Hips rise, knees are soft. Hands might come to opposite elbows as you dangle down, decompressing your spine from the lumbar through the mid-thoracic and up through the cervical neck. Then bringing the hands down, bring the feet wide. So we're coming into a wide angle with hands in front. Again, pressing into the feet, out on the outer soles of the feet, up through the hips, letting the backbone separate minutely between each of the vertebrae, maybe walking hands back a little bit between the feet. Then walk the hands forward, coming quite a bit forward, so the weight is in both feet and both hands. Try coming down onto your forearms. So hands are fairly far forward here, and I'm coming down onto forearms with my fingers clasped. Then you might even bring the crown of the head or the back of the crown of the head into the clasp of the hands. So you might be like this. Then walk the feet in towards each other. Come onto your forearms and knees come down.
buttocks comes back, swing your feet around, hands come behind, feet are wide, and we're coming into windshield wipers, back and forth. Lifting up through the arms, relaxing through the hips. Let the arm gently, as we're coming to the end of our time here, gently floating around. Hips connecting with the stability of the earth. Body floating with the earth in this vast place where we live. Then coming back through center, bring the feet wide. Turn the feet and turn the legs. This hip rises. Let the top of the body twist. This hand comes down and the other one might reach out as your chest comes down towards the mat, and do whatever of this you can. Hands might stay together, or this hand might stretch out and you might lie down, letting the hips turn, the feet turn. Just playing with this, seeing what is possible. Slide that hand back in if you've slid it out, and come round. Let the feet turn, legs turn. This hand comes down and this arm will reach out as your chest comes down to the mat. Finding what's best for you here. This is good for conditioning the spleen and stomach. But we also want to be aware of what issues we bring with us through our experience of life. Let's come into a lying position. Letting your body sink down into the earth. Feel the back of the skull, the shoulders, the area between the shoulder blades, touching down to earth, elbows, and the backs of the hands. The hips, intimate with the earth. The backs of the calves, the heels. I lay myself down on the welcoming ground, the earth's spine becoming mine. Peace seeps into heavy limbs, slows my heartbeat to the pace of nature. I take refuge in the quiet. Let my burdens go one by one, until the earth and I both float in the same vast and holy silence. Lengthen the breathing and bring some movement to fingers and toes, turning wrists and ankles a bit as you come back into your everyday life. Give the knees a hug, perhaps bringing some intention from this yoga practice into your day. And gently rolling over, we'll come up to a brief sitting position. May we all be healthy. May we be spacious in mind, heart, and body. May we keep connection with the earth.
And may our hearts beat with the pace of the earth. Namaste. Good to practice with you. Thanks for caring for yourselves and for your stomach and your spleens. Be well.